is OneDrive. OneDrive is Microsoft's name for its cloud storage system. And you can get anywhere from 5 gigabytes of storage up to terabytes of storage, depending upon really how much you pay. There's a few things you have to have in order to set up a OneDrive account. And one of them is called a Microsoft account. And a Microsoft account is nothing other than an email address that's associated with the company Microsoft. So if you got a Hotmail account, if you got an Outlook.com, if you got a .msn account, if you have an Office account, a Skype account, an Xbox account, or with your computer. If you got a Microsoft account on it when you set up your computer, that is all you need. But you have to have an email address and you got to know the password. And the email address has to be associated somehow with Microsoft, where they've accepted it. The other thing you need to do, and this is where I'm going to start sharing, is you have to make sure, and I'm going to start sharing my screen right now. Okay, share. And what I want to do is, let's see, according to what I have here, I hope you all understand my symbolism here. Under where it says also, you need to make sure OneDrive is enabled. And right underneath that, it says the first thing you do is you point at your taskbar and you right click on it. And notice on my taskbar here, a pop-up window occurs. And the next thing it says is Task Manager. That means you point and click on it. So you point and click on Task Manager. And I forgot something here. I'm going to blow this up. And let's see. Well, fill the whole screen. All right. You're supposed to click on the Start tab. Well, right now, I guess this appears the same way in Windows 10. I'm using a Windows 11 computer. And most everything is identical, except I did not check this. In Windows 10, see these things down the left-hand side here? Those are tabs across the top in a Windows 10 computer, unless they've changed it. And what you want to do is you want to click on the Startup. And here it says Startup. In Windows 10, it's just a tab. And here it says Startup Apps. But look for Startup and click on Startup. And now what you want to do is you want to go through this list down the left-hand column, and you want to find out where it says OneDrive somewhere. Well, mine says OneDrive.exe, open parentheses 4, close parentheses. Doesn't matter what else is there. I think some of them might say Microsoft OneDrive. Some of them might just say OneDrive all by itself. You need to make sure that in this column that has the status, that OneDrive is enabled. If it is not enabled, what you do, I'm going to find one here that's not enabled. Here's one that's disabled, phone link. You want that enabled if you're going to hook your phone into your computer. I could care less about that, so I'm not going to do it. So phone link, I want that to say, oh, it is disabled. What if I said I want that to be enabled? What you do is you click on that word. Okay. Well, oh, you right click on it, sorry. So you right click on it. Let me see, where does that say? Find OneDrive in the list. If it says disabled, see where it says click on disable, put right click. So you want to add something there. Right click on the word disable and notice what pops up, or pops a drop down window, and there's the word enabled. And if I click on enabled, notice the phone link is now enabled. But it really isn't. It won't be enabled until I restart my computer, because these commands in here in the status, these are done when you first start the computer up. So if this said disabled, it's going to remember it's disabled till I restart the computer, and then it will enable it. So for me, I'm just going to put it back the way it was. But that's how you change that to enable. If you do not enable OneDrive, some of the things about OneDrive will not work correctly. In fact, some things won't work at all. Okay, now, how do you set up OneDrive? I'm assuming you already have a Microsoft account. So to install OneDrive, and here's the problem, because the computers I'm using have OneDrive accounts on them already. So the only thing different is I can X out of this window. But to install it, what you do is you come down here on the taskbar all the way to the far right. And if you've never set up OneDrive, you'll see the symbol that's on my handout. It's the cloud with a line going through it. That line means it's not set up. There's no OneDrive account. Notice on this computer here, mine doesn't have a line through it. So what you would do is you would click on that, and this window pops up. You click on the icon, and when you do that, mine says get started. It might say, oh, let's try again. Come on, hope it comes up again. Well, let me try again. We don't want that. Oh, shoot. Okay. Settings. Okay. Get help, send feedback. All right. Here's what's happening to me since I started this handout 2 weeks ago. Windows 10 was doing it one way, and Windows 11 was doing it another way as far as the windows that popped up. And then all of a sudden, at the beginning of the middle of last week, Windows 10 was showing the same windows that Windows 11 showed, except for this window we're doing right here. If you have not installed OneDrive yet, there will be a command here to set it up. Since I've already set it up, it doesn't come up. I should have left what was up here before. Let me see if I can get that. Nope. I'm going to have to do something else. You do not have to do this. In this window, there will be something that says set up OneDrive, and you click on that. I'm going to go to the settings wheel and go to settings. And this is what you will see on Windows 10 also, this window. But I want to go, you don't need to know about this if you're setting it up for the first time. Like I said, I've already got it set up on this computer. I want to be an account. And see over here, it says what? Add an account. So what I want to do is I am going to click on add an account. And what will pop up is the same window as if you clicked on the symbol down here. Oh, guess what? Look what popped up. Y'all see that?
Huh?
I've got a OneDrive with a slash through it. So that's the one I'm looking at right now. Let me click on that and see what happens. Okay, right there, it says sign in. So you would click on sign in. If you clicked on sign in, this window that's right here that says set up OneDrive would pop up. So I'm going to click again. I'm going to click down here where it says enter your email address. So let's see. I've got to do some typing, folks. CKCS, I just made this up the other day. WINSIG.23 @hotmail.com. That is my email address. So you would type in your email address here, whatever it is. And then you would say, oh, see here at the bottom, create an account would allow you to create a Microsoft account. I already did this before the SIG. So I already went through create account. So I made up a Hotmail account. I don't need to do that again. Here you click on what? You type in your email address and then you click on sign in. So that's the first step. Email address. You're already synced the personal OneDrive on this computer. Unlink it to add a new one. Oh boy. Well, this is really messing me up. Okay. Give me 1 minute here. And I'll get out of that. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to have to switch computers. I need to stop sharing. Sorry, folks. I didn't know this was going to happen. Stop sharing here and come over to my other one. Share my screen here. There. Okay, now I'm on the Windows 10 computer. And let's see what happens. Okay, now find OneDrive. All right, it's still working. Jeez. Okay, I go to sign in. I come down here and I put in my email address that I had. This one should work because I've unlinked it. So I do CKCS WINSIG.23 @hotmail.com. And then I click on sign in. And if this gives me problems, I'm in big trouble. Okay. Windows, hello with your account. All right. The next window on my handout, that's the problem with already having OneDrive on here. It should ask for the password. This is on the first page. A window should come up with a password. Since I've already been on this laptop before, it remembers the password. And I couldn't figure out how to erase it. So, do you all see this?
Yes.
Okay. Why am I not seeing it on this computer? What's going on here? Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. You're all seeing this, that's all I need to know. So I click on OK. And, oh, here we go. I do not know where that was. Notice my note. The order of the windows that will appear. Some of the following windows may not appear at all, and other windows that are not on this list might appear. Forgot to add that. That other window that came up, that is, I mean, I have no idea what it was. I sort of know what it's for, but this is the second window. So I'm going to type in my password, and I've got to do this without saying it out loud. And then I click on sign in again. So that is my second window. Oh my gosh. You've got to be kidding me. Where's my other sheet? I've got two. I got the other. Where did I put the other one? I apologize for everyone. I had everything laying out here. There we go. But what I need to do, no, that's this one. No. First. No. Okay. This is called Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong.
I take offense.
What?
I take offense. However, it usually goes wrong for me too.
Yeah, I had everything laying out here. Now, what happened to it? Look in the trash can, right? Make sure my cat didn't push it on the floor. All right. Okay. Get that up there. Okay. See quiz. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Sorry. I remember my pen right then. Okay. We really, number 3 on the first page, help protect your account. This window might come up. It asks you for an alternate email address or a phone number where you can receive a text message. You can delay this for, I think, 7 days. But after 7 days, that window for help protect your account is going to pop up again. And by then, you have to have your alternate email address or your phone number, and you have to enter it, and it will send you a code. And the next window, you have to type that code in before you can go to beyond that. And this is what called the two-factor authentication, and they're using it right here. If you turn to page 2, one time this number 4 popped off up for me, and the next time it didn't. The Microsoft respecting your privacy. One time it pops up, and the next time it didn't. So that's why I'm saying some of these things will pop up, some of them won't. And then you might get one that pops up that I haven't seen yet. Like the one that popped up earlier before I typed in my password. We're on number 7. Your OneDrive folder. This is one of the things that's most confusing and hard to explain of everything about OneDrive. Notice on my computer right here, in the lower left-hand corner, it says your OneDrive folder is here. And this one says C:\NASEI/OneDrive. Here's what's going to happen. When you set up OneDrive, it not only sets up an account in the cloud, and the cloud is just a room that has a bunch of hard drives in it, somewhere down in South America or in Mexico. It's just this huge building, and all it has in it are all these drives that keep all this data on them. So when you say you're saving it in the cloud is really just some storage location somewhere in the world. But what happens is not only is the data put there, this suggested folder is on your hard drive inside your computer. So when you save something to the cloud, it is also saved to this location. Now, if you have one of the newer computers, a lot of the new computers today are being sold with 2 drives in them. One drive is where all your programs go. It's your C drive. It's the operating system. And then you have, some people have a D drive where their data is stored. So if you have only one hard drive in your computer, what you do is this default location, you use it because you don't have a second drive in there. But if you have a second drive, notice underneath that, you can change the location of where this data goes. You don't want this data going to your C drive. Because usually what happens is the C drive is solid state now, and the data drive is a hard drive. Just a regular hard drive like we've been using for years. If you put this path, this is a path. If you put this OneDrive path on your C drive and you start saving a lot of stuff to the cloud, what might happen is your C drive might fill up to the point where you don't have much room on it, and then your computer slows down big time. So if you have a second drive, what you want to do is you click on change location. So what I'm going to do, I've got a second drive in this computer. So I click on change locations. And no, I don't want that. What happened here? I know what happened. Clicking on stuff. Here we go. I don't want that. Oh, this is what I want right here. I was trying to make that larger. So what I did was I clicked on change location. And I'm making this larger, and I'm going to come over here. On this computer, it's the D drive. It's called the library drive. That's where I've got all my data. My documents folder is on it. My pictures folder is on it, and so forth. So what I do is I click on D, just like you're using File Explorer to browse around. And notice right now, we're going to this PC, we're going to Library Drive D, and right here, I've already got a folder named OneDrive. And I'm not going to use that again. I'm going to show you what you can do. You can create a new folder. So I'm going to click on create a new folder. And down here, I'm going to type in a name for it. I'm very original, 1D or OD, and I hit the enter key. And now I've got this folder. I'm going to double click on that. There's nothing inside of it. I'm going to create new folder again. And you don't have to do this. You might just want to use the word OneDrive for your very first folder. Okay. OD, and then it's going to go into the folder called OneDrive. My suggestion is the last thing on this list should always be OneDrive. Now, I changed it. If you don't have that second drive, there's nothing to change. But what you do to get it to accept this drive right here, you click on Next. So I want it to accept it. I click on Next. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to load this thing up. And I've got so much data on my computer, it's going to fill up all my space in my OneDrive. Get your most out of OneDrive. Subscribe to Microsoft 365. For $7 a month, you get 1 terabyte of storage in the cloud. And you also get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. You get all these things are combined with it. And it updates anything when they come up with new stuff, it automatically updates everything for you. You don't want that, click on Not Now. So I click on Not Now, and now it's the advertisement. Step 8, get the most out of your OneDrive. Starting with this window and everything that follows are sort of like ads. So we could go here and click on Next, and click on Next. And we'll talk about this window in a minute. And we'll get on Next. And you want the mobile app. This is number 12. If you want to put this on your phone or on your tablet, you can get the mobile app and install it. To me, later. The last one says open your OneDrive folder. So if I want to open this and see what's there, I can. Open my OneDrive folder. I click on it. And what happened? Oh, it didn't do it right. How about that? Oh, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to exit this. Here's the, well, if you clicked on that, it usually shows you your OneDrive folder. Right here, I got OneDrive. If I click on that, here's what I got. This is OneDrive. How do you know that? Up here, in this line right here, the key to this is you think of OneDrive as if it was a folder. If you think of OneDrive as if it was a folder, then you already know how to put files and folders inside of a folder. And you know how to go to that folder and open things. It's done exactly the same way. Except OneDrive is in the cloud. But it is also on the hard drive in your computer where you told it to put it. Which to me was very confusing. And sometimes it still is. What you want to do now is get out of all your extra windows. So I'm going to exit everything. I hope I don't bounce out of Zoom. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, cancel that one, keep that one. Miniaturize that one. Shoot. There we go. I think I can get out of those. Yes, I can. Okay. Okay, now I'm back to my desktop. And what I want to do is I found out, and I don't know if they still do this or not, but they automatically set it up so it saves what is in your documents folder, your desktop folder, and your pictures folder without asking you. When I first set up OneDrive, all of a sudden it copied everything in these 3 folders over to OneDrive. And I didn't want it to do that. So the way around that is you open up File Explorer, click on File Explorer, and in the left-hand column, you find out where it says OneDrive, and you right-click on it. And somewhere in this whole list is the word Settings. Now, if you're using Windows 11, you don't see Settings, but it's something at the bottom says what? Show more options. So you got to click on that to see Settings. I click on Settings, and this window opens here. And right here, it opens to it right away. It opens up to sync and backup. And this very first thing up here is there's the Manage Backup. So you click on Manage Backup. When you click on that, this thing comes up right here. Backup folders on this device. Ah, come on. These things are usually on. Okay. Oh, I know why they're on, because it was scanning what was there. If these things are on, and you click on Save the Changes, what happens is it starts saving to OneDrive everything you got in your desktop folder, your documents folder, and your pictures folder. And that takes up room on OneDrive. Well, if I've got them on my C drive or on my data drive, I really don't need to put them all up in the cloud. I just leave them on my D drive. Of course, what do I do every day and every month? I back up my whole computer. It backs up all my files and all my programs, everything. And I've got my computer, I got it set up. So once a month, it backs up everything, no matter what. For the next days, all it backs up is what's been changed or modified.
And what backup program are you using?
Naomi, something like that. Let's see, hang on a second. I keep misspelling it or mispronouncing it. If I can miniaturize all this. Oh, I know what I need to do. Here we go. I gotta look on my other computer because this is where okay, exit full screen so I can see it. It's called AOMEI. It's all capital letters. AOMEI back upper. Back upper is one word. And it's not capitalized. Well, the B is capitalized. I don't know what it cost now. I got a lifetime license for it for $35 during Christmas break. I don't know if you remember, Larry Mitchum sent out something where we could get all these free programs somewhere before Christmas or after Christmas Day. And I thought, oh, great. I downloaded every one of them. And then I found out the license was only good for 6 months or 9 months or a year. But I tried every one of them. The only one I liked was this AOMEI backupper. So I said, oh, you know, I keep it on my computer. And then they offered me a deal to get a lifetime license for $35. That's not very expensive at all for some of the backup programs. And I've already used it once, where I did something on my computer and messed some things up. I had to go into my backup and restore some stuff. Okay, back to where I was. If these things are on and you only have 5 gigabytes, you ought to turn these off. These 3 things would fill up the 5 gigabytes within a day if you got as many documents and pictures as I've got on my computer. So I make sure they're off. And you can't click on save changes, but you can say close. So I close it and it's not going to back up anything. But if you only got 5 gigabytes, I suggest you do that, or you're just going to run out of space in OneDrive in no time. All right. If you go to the last page of the handout, call it the appendix. The very first picture there where it says Microsoft OneDrive, it says setting, it's got tabs, settings, account, backup, network, office, and about. If you look at what I'm sharing on this window, there's something called account, there's something called what? Notifications, and there's something called about. Manage backup. I clicked on accounts, or I clicked on backup, and there was manage account. This is what it used to look like in Windows 10 on page 6. And the other thing on page 6, the second picture there, when we went to manage backup, notice they had those sliders for documents, pictures, and desktop. On page 6, they had this picture going across with these blue check marks. And you had to click on each one of those to get rid of the blue circle with a white check mark in it before you went down and say, don't, or close the window. So it didn't back them up. So appendix is what Windows 10 used to look like. And like I said, middle of last week, all of a sudden it looked the same way as Windows 11 looks. Okay, now after you've done all that, now you're ready to start using it. So how do you go about start using it? Well, you can save anything you want there. The key thing on, what is this, page 3 or 4? 1, 2, 2. I should have numbered these. I didn't know I was going to have that many pages. And then after I already sent it out, I should have numbered it. Page 4. First sentence, think of OneDrive as a folder. So if I get out of here, I can get out of this window, I can get out of that window. And what I want to do now is I'm just going to come over here to the far left.
Mike, if you're not looking towards this computer, we can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I know what's going on. Unfortunately. Okay. You see what I want to do here. I want to click on documents underneath OneDrive. All right. And there's what? I clicked on documents. There's absolute notice up at the top, OneDrive personal documents. So I'm looking in the folder called OneDrive, and inside of that, there's a folder called documents. There's nothing in it. So let's say I want to put something in it. So what I could do is I could come down to this PC and go to documents. Let's click on that. Now notice it says this PC in documents. So here's a good one right here. Books read. I want to put that in the cloud. So think of the cloud. It's a folder. So what do I want to do? I want to come to books read. You all know how to drag something to another folder, I like to teach people the right button drag. Hold down the right button, move it over. Now notice when I move it over here, notice what it's saying. Move to what? Move to documents. If I lift up on it, it's going to give me some choices. It's going to say copy here, move it here, create a shortcut, or cancel. Maybe I made a mistake. The reason why I like right button dragging is if you happen to lift up on the button on a folder that you really didn't intend to, you can cancel this. If you do a left button drag and you happen to lift up on the button before you get to the folder you want, it's going to drop it into the nearest folder that your pointer's pointing at. And if you got a lot of folders like I do, sometimes, okay, which one did I put it in? So right here, I'm just going to say copy here. Just to show you I can copy it. Well, it didn't show me anything. To show that it worked, I'm going to double click on underneath OneDrive. I'm going to click on Documents. And notice there is the folder called Books Read. I started doing this years ago. I couldn't keep track of all the books I read. So anytime I read a book, it goes into my database. And I find myself looking at a book that sounds familiar. Sure enough, it's in the list. Tells you what's happening to my memory. But that's one way you can do this. You could.
May I ask a question, Mike?
Sure.
May I ask the way you just, when you copied that, now if you make changes in one of them, will it reflect in the other, or do you have two?
No.
Okay.
If you change one of them, it gets changed in both places. If it is in both places, it might not be in both. It might not be in both places. All right, this is my file. I could do what before I could go up to file and say print this thing if I wanted to. So, I mean, no, let me get out and exit that file. But I could, I can put anything in here I want. The main thing I'm putting in here now is I've got this set up. I could take the same way I set this up and I could put it on my other laptop and set up the same personal OneDrive folder. And if I leave my one laptop here to work on when I'm at home, and I take another one and I carry it to St. KCS when I'm there on Monday morning, I can access the files because they're where? They're in the cloud. And if I've got the same OneDrive set up on both of them, personal one, I can pull it up, modify it, save it back. When I get back home, I can go to OneDrive, download it, and the changes are there. And it works real nice. The other thing, I put things that I want to keep away from people here also. So like my tax forms, they're all in the cloud. There's something else about OneDrive that they have something called the vault. And the vault in OneDrive allows you to put things in it with a password. And it's like all these Bitcoin things where you have to remember the master password or you can't get in. If you forget your password to your vault, you're sunk. You can't get into it. I've never tried that yet, but that's something I want to look into. All right. So you put anything you want in here. There are certain symbols around everything. This is the notation that's on page 4. There are, let me, okay, see if I can find something. Oh, good. Oh, I'm gonna go back to the documents. And look at the book spread. Over here, to the right of that folder is an icon. It's a green circle with a green check mark in it. And that is on page 4. That's from the section where it says the notation used on OneDrive files and folders. Down to the 3rd paragraph there. The white circle with a green check mark means the folder or file is stored in the cloud and on your hard drive in that location we talked about earlier. It's both places. But if you use something like Storage Sense is built into Windows 11. I don't know if it was, I think it might be in Windows 10. Yes, it is. Take it back. I saw it. I looked for it the other day. It's in Windows 10. Storage Sense will go through and erase temporary files. It will clean out your recycle bin. Anything that is marked with this circle that is white inside with a green check mark, it will delete it from your hard drive. It will not delete it from the cloud. It will delete it from the hard drive. And once you delete it from the hard drive, what happens is the next paragraph down. If you see the cloud symbol, it's just a cloud symbol with nothing inside of it. Your folder or file is stored only in the cloud. Its content is not on your computer. Therefore, if you want to work with the file in question, it first must be downloaded. And then the first symbol I skipped over is the 2nd paragraph in this section. A solid green circle with a white check means the folder or file is always stored in both places. So it's on your computer and it's in the cloud, which means if you don't have internet connection and it's got that green circle with a white check mark in it, you could open it, modify it, and save it. Now, it's saving it on your computer. The next time you take your computer to a location where you can get on the internet, it will upload those changes to the cloud, but it will still be held in both places. So look at here where it says books read. Oh, let me open up books read. Notice my file, this is the file. That has that green symbol. What if I want to keep this on my computer? So what you do is you right click on either the file or the folder. You right click on it and you get all these choices. And the choice you want, see where it says right here, always keep on this device. If I say always keep on this device, click on that, look what happens. I now have the green solid circle with the white check mark. So now that file is on my laptop here, but it's also in the cloud. If I want it to be in the cloud only, I right click on the file name and see where it says free up space. You click on free up space and you give it some time, and notice now it's that little cloud. That little cloud tells me it's in the cloud, which means it's on somebody's hard drive Microsoft's hard drive in some big building that's got thousands of drives in it, which is really what the cloud is, but it's not on my local computer. Now, if I go back out to documents, documents is also cloud. What if I changed a folder? So this is a folder and it is stored in the cloud only. It is not on the hard drive. Now, when you say it's not on the hard drive, the data that's in this is not on the hard drive. The data is not on the hard drive. The name of the file is on the hard drive, but there's no data that's associated with it. So it's not taking up any more room than to store the name. If I right click on this and say, always keep on this device, since this is a folder, and notice it takes a little bit of time. It actually has to think about it, what it's doing. Now I've got a green circle with a white check mark in it. It is now stored on my hard drive and in the cloud. And I believe you're also confused now. I don't know what I mean, this is not easy to understand. I don't know any way to illustrate it either. If I right click on this, notice, always keep on this device has a what in front of it? A check mark. When always keep on this device has a check mark in front of it, that means it's stored in both locations, the cloud and the hard drive. If I click on this, that changes to a white circle with a green check mark in it. And if I right click on this, and notice always keep on this device does not have a check mark in front. No check mark means it will stay, it's on my hard drive, but if I run something like Storage Sense, it'll erase it. And that's explained a little bit on the next one, next page. You will find out. Okay, let me get out of this, stop sharing here. And I'm gonna try to get back to my other computer. There, shoot.
And Storage Sense is another program?
What?
Storage Sense is another program?
Yeah, it's in, I'll show you here in a minute.
Yes.
I'm sharing again. What I want to show you is what I've done. This is my Windows 11 computer, but I've got them set up the same way. You will notice on a lot of the things I have, I've got them what? There's a cloud after it. The status is a cloud symbol. That means what? That the data is in the cloud, but it's not on my laptop. What I've done over time is I have turned everything I've had into being in the cloud, but not on my computer. If it's not on my computer, it doesn't take up extra space. Anytime I want to work with it, guess what I do? I bring it in so it's on my laptop or on my hard drive and in the cloud. That way it takes me less time and I don't need to be where? I don't need to be online to work with it. So right now, the handout we've got here that I sent to you is in both places. Since I haven't run something like Storage Sense, since I've done that, put this up after I ran Storage Sense a while ago, and then I did this later. If I was in a place where I couldn't log into online, I could still work on the handout because this symbol, the symbol right here means it's what? It is on my hard drive. Now, if I want to ensure that it's there, I right click on it. Oh, no, I don't right click on it. Yeah, I do. I right click on it. And I say what? Always keep on this device. And that'll change to a solid green with a white check mark in it. All right. Any questions? This is not easy to understand.
You got a question, Mike?
I've been working with OneDrive for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And slowly I've picked up extra things that, did more reading about them to the point where I've got to where I am now, where it makes sense what I'm doing. I purposely keep everything in the cloud and not on my computer. Except right now, let me see, what am I doing with my taxes? Let me double click that. Okay. On my taxes, I'm okay. Some of it I don't, it's on my hard drive, but I'm not going to run storage sense. Oh, let me go to storage sense before Larry, put you on hold a minute.
Sure.
Okay. To get to storage sense, Windows 11, you go to settings. Look at Windows 10, you go to settings. On Windows 11, you click on storage. Where's storage? Right here. On Windows 10, you click on the word system. And then you click on storage. So now I go to storage. And right here in 11, I click on what? Storage sense. On 10, you click on the words configure storage sense. So right here, I click on this. And now I've got this whole list of things. And basically, this is the same as on 10. Do you want to clean up your computer? I would not turn this on until you read through everything you can do. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't. You got to turn it on. Sorry, you got to turn this on. And now notice everything is grayed out. Run storage sense during low free disk space. Delete files in my recycle bin if they've been there over so many days. Choose 1 day, 14, 30, 60. I'm going with 60. Delete files in my download folder if they haven't been opened in more than 1 day, 14 days. You can actually get rid of things in your download folder. I chose never because I got too much junk in it. I need to clean it out. Contents will become online only if open for more than OneDrive, CKCS admin. I do not want to change anything in admin. That's, in essence, that's what we use for administration purposes, CKCS. And I've got that on here so I can work on it when I'm at home instead of having to be at CKCS to work on certain files. And then my personal one, I might change this to something else, but right now I'm not going to worry, I leave it alone. And then the last thing you can do is you can run this. And I ran this 2 weeks ago and I got 5 gigabytes worth of hard drive space back. And it took it about 30 seconds to run. Couldn't believe it. 30 seconds and I regained 5 gigabytes on my hard drive, which I like that, that's pretty nice. And then I turned it off so it doesn't run automatically. But you can turn it and leave it on. All right. So that's storage sense. There are other programs out there that are similar to it. I have not researched any of them. In an article I read, so there's other things that'll do basically the same thing. Some of them are free and some of them you have to pay for. Like everything else. Larry, question.
Yeah, let me get my thoughts together here.
Okay.
Before, let's say in your case, you've got all your data stored in the cloud.
Basically, yes.
Okay. somewhere I read something here. If I want to work on one of those files, I thought I read that you have to download it to your computer to work on it.
You do. Let me
Okay.
show you. Right
Well,
here.
I thought,
No, hang on a second. Okay, let me see. New SIG IDs. I think everything in there is that way. Yeah, okay. So if I want to go to February, right here, I want to open that folder and I see these things in it. Okay, see this one, how to unlock educational themes. Okay, how to use a reader, Windows menu editor. Okay, those are little files I've got. I put them in February and I decided to do something else. So I'm gonna move them all up to March. Now, I want to work on this one. How do you usually work on something? You just double click to open it, right?
yep.
So I double click, it's downloading it, and now opened it. It downloaded it.
Okay, I guess I'm getting confused between the,
You don't have to go, you don't have to go into the cloud and say, hit the download button. You just double click on the file or folder and it downloads it.
well, Microsoft 365. Is that the same thing we're using here? I mean, it's called OneDrive.
No, OneDrive is cloud storage.
Okay,
Microsoft 365
is
has
the
Word,
applications and all
Excel,
that with it.
got all these programs in it. And it gives you a terabyte of cloud storage space.
Okay, with the 365, all your data is stored up on in their cloud.
No,
It's,
I can store it anywhere I want. I can put it on my hard drive. And not
okay,
put it in the cloud
you're
at all.
just using the applications in the cloud to compose the documents, but then
Right.
when you're
When you go
saving
to
them,
save, when you do a save as, that's where you choose where you want to save it. So right now I've downloaded how to use Google Chrome's hidden reader mode. If I want to go to file, and I always do a save as, there's no sense clicking on save. And the reason for that, you see that little icon up here? That little thing looks like
yeah.
old floppy disk. You click
Right.
on that, it saves it wherever it was located when you downloaded it. But if I want to save it somewhere else, okay, I want to save it as. Okay, we're on save. Here's a thumb drive. I'm going to plug in this thumb drive. And you save it just like you've always saved it. My thumb drive's plugged in. It's not going to pop up over here. I've got to come over here and click on what? Browse. When you do a save as. So I do a browse. And that allows me to come all the way down to this thing. My thumb drive is named USB recipes. So I click on that. And this, now I'm looking at this. This is the thumb drive. So now what do I want to do? I can save this file right now by clicking on save, and it will save it on this thumb drive. It will not put it in the cloud. It will not put it on my hard drive on my computer. I can save it anywhere I want. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay. If I want to put it in the cloud, I'd come up to where I've got personal for the cloud. I'd click on that. Where do I want to put it? I might want to put it in documents. Now this is in the cloud. So I'd open up my documents folder here. And if I want to save it the way it is, I click on save. It would save it in the cloud, my personal cloud, in the documents folder. Now, if I wanted to put it in one of these folders, I'd have to pick one of these folders and open it to put this file in there. But if I want to come down to what? If I want to come down to, what is it called? My PC or this PC? Oh, no. Okay. They changed everything in Windows 11. There is something called Home at the top. Home has taken place of Quick Access, even though Quick Access word pops up, but they're now calling it Home. When you click on Home, you get this right here. And that right there, that documents folder, when I clicked on it, notice up here at the top, it doesn't say my personal OneDrive. It just has the symbol out in front, which is the symbol meaning that is on my data drive. It's the documents folder that is on my data drive. So I could save it there. So you're using the program that Microsoft 365 is part of it. Once you create the document, you got to decide where you want to save it. And when I was setting up this laptop, I put most everything in the cloud. Just to play with it, and so far, so good. The only thing that could go bad is if Microsoft, if their cloud storage building burns up or something, but they've got, I don't know how many of them around the world. There's more than one. So your data is in more than one cloud storage bin, just in case something goes wrong someplace. They can always switch you over to another location and you still have your files there. All right, does that answer your question?
Yes, but that leaves another little thing is the updating of the files, the syncing of multiple files in multiple locations? Or is syncing something outside OneDrive?
If you're, okay, if syncing, okay, let's say I've said something to keep it on this computer all the time. All right. So let's see, where do I want? I don't know, go to Baptist Health, no items in there. Okay. This is a mess. CKCS, yeah. Oh, here we go, board meetings. Nah, I don't want to do that. What's this? Archives. I don't want to get out of all that. Go back to CKCS. Find something. Oh, I know what to go to. Come down here to SIGs. Okay. So now, well, which way are they? Okay, those are my CKCS SIGs. What in the world? Oh. Oh, well. Those are old SIGs. Where's the new ones? There's new SIG ideas. Okay. Okay, these are just, I started throwing this together. I need to clean this up. This is bad folder. February. All right. If I took this, you see, 16 essential Windows shortcut. Let's say I wanted to keep that, always keep on this device. Okay. That was downloading. Okay, now I take this laptop with me tomorrow, go to the car dealer and they work on my car for 2 hours. I am not going to tie into their internet, but I wanted to work on this program or this file here. So it's on my computer. So I modify it and I save it on this computer in the location where it is. Okay, I save it where I got it from. When I get back home, I log into my internet here. All right. What's going to happen is, and I don't know how it decides this, but it sees, oh, you changed this file on your computer. So what it does, you can use the word sync. It starts syncing my computer with what's in the cloud. And it overwrites what's in the cloud with the new version I've got on my computer. And in essence, it's syncing it up. And that's what I think of syncing.
Mhm.
You can have it also. I don't want to get into that. Okay. You can sync Google Chrome between computers. There's a way to do it. I haven't done it for a while. When I got this new laptop, I did it with this laptop. I synced it with my Windows 10 computer, Chrome. It brought all my favorites over. Didn't have to retype them. Didn't have to save them and then download them again. It synced them so everything was the same. Now the problem is if I deleted something on my new computer, guess what? It gets synced to my old computer and it deletes it on the old computer. Maybe I wanted to keep it. So you got to be careful when you say you're syncing things, because if you change it on one, it gets changed on everything you're syncing with. And what I had to do is once I synced it, then I turned it off. I wanted to get all my favorites and everything I looked for. It synced everything with Chrome, which means I didn't have to type it in or copy it, download it again. And then I found out right away I deleted something and I found out it got deleted everywhere. I said, I don't want that to happen. So I stopped syncing. All right. I hope I've answered your question.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions?
Oh, Mike, did you say last night that you said you added about 3 more pages to the handout? Did you say you might?
Oh, no, I was thinking I've got one more page. I got a page and a half, and I haven't gone over that. So I'm not going to worry about it. I might
okay.
talk about that at the beginning of next month. I don't know. The key to,
Would
once
you add
set,
that to the document though? I mean, would you incorporate that into the document that you already made or?
yeah, I will. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll send it out again. Yeah. The big thing, let me show you one of the things right now, sharing. Okay, share it. Okay, let's see. What do I want to do? I want to get out of here. Okay, I'm gonna move some things around so I can get out of there. And okay, I want to keep, this is a file explorer. So here's what you can do. If you don't like OneDrive and somehow it got set up on your computer, like here's my personal OneDrive right here. You right click on it. And again, show more options because this is Windows 11. It doesn't show everything. When you say show more, it shows everything it should have to begin with. I click on settings and that window pops up. Where is that window? Right there. And I click on account. So again, this is like when I was doing managing backup, except you don't click on managing backup, you click on account. Right here, it says what? Unlink this PC. I'm not going to click on that. Well, yes, I can. If you click on, if you don't want OneDrive and it's there, you go to this point and you unclick on unlink this PC. And now you get here, you sure you really want to do this? And if you click on unlink this account, it shuts down your OneDrive account. It is gone. So everything that was in the cloud is not, you can't access it anymore. If you had it so everything was in the cloud and not on your PC, it's not on your PC either. It's just not there. So if you want to get out of OneDrive, this is how you get out of it. I don't want to do that. I want to cancel that. That's one of the things I wrote up extra.
Well, are
The
you
other
able
thing-
to reestablish the link?
Oh, yes, yes.
But in the meantime, you haven't lost anything though, have you?
Not really, because it's still all out. It's still all there. You just unlinked it. The key though is if you did get Microsoft 365, you had to use a Microsoft account. You had to use a Microsoft email address and a password to get your what? Microsoft 365. You use that email and that password when you set up your OneDrive account. And that's how you get your terabyte of storage. If you don't use the same email address that you registered Microsoft 365 with, you do not get a terabyte. You just get 5 gigabytes. What I set up was not the same email address that I used for my Microsoft account. So I only got 5 gigabytes of storage on the thing I set up.
Yeah, that was another follow-up question I had was, we hadn't, the idea of a local Microsoft account never came into play here tonight.
No, it doesn't.
And then the question is, you're leaving the system still in the Microsoft account. So does that mean you're going to start getting a lot of, Microsoft's going to track more what you do? And
Yes. But you cannot use OneDrive without a Microsoft account. So this goes back
Yeah.
to what I did, what was it, last year sometime? I talked about the difference between a local and a Microsoft account and showed you how to set them up. And my suggestion was you make up a dummy Microsoft account. Which is in essence what I did here. I've got a Microsoft account. I made it up. I paid for Microsoft 365. I used that same email address. And then when I set up my OneDrive personal, I used the same email address and password that went with it that I used to purchase the Microsoft 365. That email address, since it's been in use, I've only looked into it one time to see how much email was there. I don't use it for email. It is not my personal email address. I got something completely different. I just made up something as a dummy address just to use. They can collect all the data they want because there's no communication with anybody on that account, on that email address. So they don't see what I'm doing. They still see what I'm doing. They got other ways to see it. Hey, if you want to use computers,
yeah,
if you don't want to have these people find out what's going on,
don't
you
do
don't-
anything.
you don't hook it into your internet. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
folks. That's the reality of it. One thing you can do to start, stop having them trace everything is get what's called a virtual private network account, a VPN, and start using it all the time. That was talked about in one of the tech nights this past year.
Yeah, Kurt Jefferson.
Yep. Talked about setting up a virtual private network. I'm getting ready to purchase one. All right. The other thing that was extra on the handout was I was going to show you how in the world do I get my handout to you the way I do it. And that is, I don't want to do it without having the handout. But it's fairly straightforward, but it's got to be in the cloud to do it. The file has to be in the cloud. And what you do is you create a URL for it. And you send the URL to the people you want to have access to it. And if they click on that, they can either download your document or print it, which is what you all do with my handouts. Of course, I take the URL and associate it with some words instead of just typing the URL in there. Where you don't type the URL, you don't want to. You copy it and then paste it where you want to put it. All right. I am done. Any other questions? I know this, like I said, this is not an easy topic. And I've had some people come in that, I've helped with it. If you have questions, Dr. Fix It is a good place to show up and ask questions. All right. Oh, I said I was going to put something back up on, I got to do screen share again. Dang it, I forgot all about that. Okay, where was that? There it is right there. Okay, slideshow. From the beginning, there you go. That is the URL for last night's Tech Night. We recorded it and Larry Mitchum downloaded it and then put it up on YouTube. And he wanted to do the same thing with tonight's topic. All right, so that is the URL. I hope it works. I have not tried it.
Well, I'll be trying it here shortly.
Yep. Now here's what I'm going to do. Can I do that? Nope. Here we go. Let's see what happens. I'm in Chrome, put it right there. I'm going out on the internet. This page isn't available. Okay. All right. Doesn't work. Sorry. I mean, that's what I was told to use. YouTube.com, CKCS videos. Well, dang it. I'll just get out of there. Don't save. All right. Well, good night, everyone.
Mike,
Unless somebody
don't
else-
leave me.
Okay. Well, I'm getting ready to.
Okay, you want me to
Thank you
call
very
you?
much.